Hello guys, and today we're going to be making a comprehensive comparison between the ASUS ROG Strix G18 and the Alienware M18 R2. While these laptops come from different release years, with the Strix G18 being the latest and the M18 R2 launching back in 2024. They both have different specs, and the aim is to see if it is actually worth buying or upgrading to a newer laptop when there are already older powerhouse laptops available in the market. So without any further ado, let's answer that question. The ASUS ROG Strix G18 is a 2025 laptop with the best of the best specs such as the NVIDIA RTX 5080 and is priced at $4,400, while the Alienware M18 R2 is from 2024 with last gen's best such as the NVIDIA RTX 4080 and is priced at $2,500. The laptops have around a $2,000 difference in price, and to see if it's worth the price difference, we will compare them in different categories. First up is the build quality and designs of the laptops. The Alienware M18 R2 comes in a dark metallic look with a minimal design with only a big Alienware logo on the back, with 18 engraved on the bottom right on the back, and even the power button is shaped in the Alienware logo. The design looks clean and unique. The laptop also has backlighting on the keyboard deck, and there is an extrusion on the back for the ports, which also has RGB lights on it, and both the RGB lights are configurable in the Alienware command center. The build is strong, with it being built with a mix of aluminum and plastic, but it is quite hefty, with the laptop being 1.1 inches thick and weighing in at about 4 kg. It's pretty massive and heavy, making it difficult for daily travel use. On the other hand, the ASUS ROG Strix G18 shares many common features with the Strix Car series and goes for a more gamer-like look, with it having RGB lights all over the underside of the laptop and on the keyboard deck, while the back has the ASUS logo and the diagonal line, which does not serve any purpose other than for design. All in all, the design definitely has personality and is noticeable even from far away. The build is strong, with the lid being made of aluminum and the rest of it with plastic. The Strix G18 weighs in at about 3 kg and is about 1.2 inches thick, making it around a kilo lighter and only slightly thicker than the Alienware. In conclusion, the winner of the build and design would be the Alienware M18 R2. That is because it feels more metallic, which gives it a sense of being more premium, but in fact being cheaper. The downgrade of being 1 kilo heavier is noticeable, but both the laptops aren't really daily travel compatible, so the weight doesn't impact it much for their use cases. Next up is the display. The ASUS ROG Strix G18 has an 18-inch QHD to 40Hz Nebula display. The Nebula display acts like a good quality IPS display with deep blacks and excellent color contrast, with the display having 100% of sRGB coverage, 100% of DCI-P3 coverage, and 87% of Adobe RGB. The Strix G18 also has a no PMW flickering rating and has a peak brightness of 550 nits, which is good enough to view in sunlight. The response time of the display is also low at about 3 ms, which comes in useful to utilize the 240Hz, but it's not as low as 1 ms, which can be seen in many gaming monitors. On the other hand, the Alienware M18 R2 has an 18-inch QHD plus 165Hz IPS display. The IPS display is similar to the Nebula display on the Strix G18 with deep blacks and a similar color contrast, with the M18 getting 100% of sRGB coverage, 100% of DCI-P3 coverage, and 88% of Adobe RGB. The peak brightness of the laptop is around 250 nits, which is a lot lower than the 550 nits on the Strix G18 and is definitely noticeable while viewing the display in sunlight or bright areas. There is also a difference in the resolution, with the Alienware coming ahead with a QHD+, while the ASUS only has a QHD. However, ASUS takes the upper hand in the refresh rate with 240Hz, while the Alienware has 165Hz. In the end, the better display is the ASUS ROG Strix G18's for the better brightness and higher refresh rate. Now, let's talk about the performance of the laptops. The specs of the ASUS ROG Strix G18 include the Intel Ultra 9 275HX CPU, 32GB of DDR5 RAM, a 2TB SSD, and the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080 16GB GDDR7. On the other side, the specs of the Alienware M18 R2 include the Intel Core i9 14900HX CPU, 32GB of DDR5 RAM, a 1TB SSD, and the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 12GB GDDR6. The obvious difference in specs is the GPU, which are one generation apart. The CPUs on the laptops are different, but in terms of power, both the i9 14900HX and the i9 Ultra 275HX are similar and don't change much in gaming. To determine the difference in performance of the GPUs, we will compare them in Cyberpunk 2077. So with that said, here are the results in game. In the performance test, we saw both laptops performing well in Cyberpunk 2077, but there was a clear difference in FPS. With the Strix G18, we got about 120 to 140 FPS, while on the Alienware, it was a stable 90 to 100 FPS. The ray tracing on the Strix G18 was set on Ultra, while the ray tracing on the Alienware was set to On. That, along with the RTX 5080 having better frame generation and a higher DLSS version, allowed it to get 30 to 40 more FPS than the 4080 while looking better too. In conclusion, we saw that both the laptops perform very well, have great displays and good builds, but there has to be a winner. In overall categories, the ASUS ROG Strix G18 won, but the winner in this video is the Alienware M18 R2 due to the price to performance that you get when comparing the two. Even with the $2,000 difference in price, the laptops were quite similar, and for a video editor or graphic designer who enjoys gaming on the side, the Alienware M18 R2 is definitely a better option. So that's it for the video guys, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.